let's get to your questions. And we are going to start with this question from Video Marv. And Video Marv asks, can you put a price on Bedard? For example, if Montreal asks for Bedard in exchange, gives the Hawks their first 2 picks for the next 5 years, is it worth it? Is there a price that the Hawks couldn't refuse? I think this is a really good time to talk about what the value of a first overall pick is, because I don't think there is a price that the Blackhawks would look at and say, yep, that will do it. That will do it. Because I think just look at what happened in the hour after the draft. The Blackhawks sold tons of season tickets. I'm guessing there are tons of Bedard jerseys already being sold. Landing a player like Bedard in the same way that landing a McDavid, a Sidney Crosby, a Patrick Kane, although not, that we didn't know quite how good Patrick Kane was going to be at that time. He didn't have the same level of buzz that Connor Bedard did. In fact, there were people that didn't think Patrick Kane would go first overall that year. But I think specifically guys like McDavid, Matthews, and Crosby in recent memory, and Alex Ovechkin before Crosby as well, those were guys that the hype was so absurd that you just couldn't deny it. And all of those guys worked out. We're doing the same thing with Connor Bedard now, and I have no qualms about his ability. I think he's going to be a special player. I think he's going to make a ton of great headway in terms of, his career. I think he's going to potentially be an award winner. I know there's some people that want to pump the brakes on the hype, and I think that that's a very fair thing to do because he is a 17-year-old player. But the way I feel about Connor Bedard is, I've watched watched a lot of prospects over the years. I saw Connor McDavid up close and in person as he was draft eligible years before. And while Connor Bedard is not Connor McDavid, I want to make that very clear. I don't think that he's going to have the career that McDavid is having right now. I think he has the potential to outdo guys like Patrick Kane and Steven Stamkos, who I think are, have had Hall of Fame careers. So when we're talking about players like that, what kind of value do you place on that? Because it's not just about the on-ice product. I mean, he's already selling tickets for a franchise that was heading in a terrible direction in terms of gate revenue and everything else after selling out year after year after year. And then, he's also got this massive appeal within the NHL market as a whole. So now suddenly Chicago is back to being a premier franchise, one that is on national TV a lot, one that people want to follow. And that's probably, good for the league. The fact that he's in a major media market in the US is no small thing for the NHL, especially when McDavid's in Edmonton and Matthews is in Toronto. While that's great for the league in general, it's not necessarily great for the US television audience that doesn't get to see those players as much. Bedard's going to get seen an awful lot. So there's a value there. I think, to Marv's example of saying if they give their first 2 picks for the next 5 years, the thing is that they know they have Connor Bedard now. There's no guarantee that there's going to be another Connor Bedard in the next however many drafts. There's too much of an unknown there. You've got Bedard. You expect him to be a superstar. What is that worth to your team? Well, if I'm the Blackhawks, I'm saying, okay, well, Montreal, you want the first overall pick. It's going to cost you Suzuki, Caulfield, all absurd prices, like stuff that you would just say that's just absurd. We would decimate our own team. Is it worth it for one player? There might be some teams that would say, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I don't think that the Edmonton Oilers are going to trade Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid for Connor Bedard. But that's what we're talking about, that kind of value. So I don't think there's a scenario where the Blackhawks would be in a position. I mean, it'd have to be something astronomical for them to go. But I think it's a worthwhile question to ask, because it's like, what is the true value of a player like Connor Bedard? Well, for the Blackhawks, honestly, at this point, it might be priceless.